What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Thoughts of the Pugilist podcast. I'm your host, Fuad, Baiazid, and today's pugilist is the one and only Arthur Biyarslanov. Arthur, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, Fuad. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on.
Thank you.
It's 2023, and you're 27 years old. You signed with Probelum. I want to know what you want to do this year.
Well, I want to have a lot of fights, more fights, and I want to have more serious opponents. And we talked about that with my manager. So hopefully, Probelum is gonna get me those fights that I want and push me in the top 15 rating this year.
Yeah. So you want an intercontinental title this year?
Of course, yeah. I want to get some kind of a title, and I want to be in top 15 in any of the belts, so that way I could get a title shot any moment.
Okay, I see. Well, you're top 5 in Canada, give or take. I think now you're top 5, right? Mm-hmm. Is there anybody locally that you're eyeing? Maybe
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the big belts.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking at WBC, WBA, IBO, WBA, WBO, all those belts. So my interest is to get to top 15. I don't care who I fight, where I fight. Get those fights to get me to top 15. Once I'm in top 15, if anyone locally is in top 15, sure, why not? And if anyone has the title, sure, why not? So for me, my main focus is the world title.
So you're saying you got bigger fish to fry than local guys?
I mean, we got local guys that are doing really well also. I'm not going to take anything away from that.
Of course.
I know them very well. We spar. We're good friends. So, but aside from that, my goal is the world titles. And I'm going to take whatever fights, like I said, will get me there.
I respect that, man. Yeah. That's I couldn't have answered that better. I want to know about your journey to the Olympics. Right, this was a very big story, right? You boxed against Jordan, and then you boxed against Germany. Yeah. And we know the corruption in amateur boxing. But what I want to know more is I want to know, like the journey of going to the Olympics, because it was a dream of yours still. Oh. And you accomplished it. You went to the Olympics.
Yeah, no, it was a very long journey. I remember in 2012, after watching the Olympics, my brother told me, "You're going to be in the next Olympics." And I was like, 20? I don't know, we'll see, And ever since then, I remember, I think I had a picture written somewhere, I'm going to be in the Olympics, Olympic champion.
You drew it?
Yeah, I think it was in 2013 maybe, or 2012, something like that. And not taking anything away from the Olympics, but to get there, it wasn't easy. It was very tough. I had to win nationals, then I had to win international tournament, and then I had to win American Continentals. Only top 2 qualified there. Only then we got to Olympics. So it was very tough to get there, and it was a long, very long journey. And when I got there, I was like, okay, good, I'm here. I'm one step closer to what I want to accomplish, and that's the gold medal. So we got the first fight was really tough because everyone was watching. I had a lot on my shoulders.
First fight was against Jordan, right?
Jordan, yeah. And it was very I was very tight, very, it was intense. I got to win. I was happy. Second fight, Germany. Okay, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. My goal is the gold medal. Germany guy, obviously wasn't bad. I don't know if whoever saw the fight maybe saw, but I feel like I won the fight. And that 2016 Olympics was pretty corrupt.
It was tricky.
It was tricky. And I mean, it is what it is. I can't,
Yeah. No complaints.
No complaints. I don't want to look back at it. I have another focus now, so.
Yeah. You weren't the only robbery at the 2016 Olympics. And I think if there were less robberies, yours would have gotten a lot more attention.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. They suspended, I think, over 20 judges after the Olympics, but it was too late. The damage was done. And a lot of, I saw from my own eyes watching fights, you know, they had some countries that they knew that they have no support. So they're like, okay, this country, we're just gonna, you know, even if they win, we're just gonna kick them out, you know?
Yeah.
So they're like, okay. And I'm watching the fight, and I see the guy winning, completely dominating, but they give it to the other guy, and they're like, what? How could you do that?
Man, this changes your entire life, your entire career.
And no, that's why right after that I was so upset, man. I wanted to turn professional right away, but I talked to my brother, my team, and I said, you know what, let's stay for another year. The World Championships 2017. Let's have another shot, and then we'll go from there. But Olympics overall was a great experience, man. I mean, I seen a lot of famous athletes. I have actually a funny story.
In the cafeteria?
Yeah, in the cafeteria. I'm in the cafeteria. It's big. It's big cafeteria.
So all the athletes, you guys are eating.
Everyone eats at the same cafeteria.
Okay, not just boxing.
They have all kind of food, Asian food, like, you know, Indian food, everything. So everyone grabs their food from wherever, and they just sit. Like, it's so big. And I'm sitting down eating my food, and I just see like some people coming like towards me. Everyone's looking like, I feel like they're looking at me, like, you know. And this was after I won my first fight, so I'm just like, maybe, you know, they will see my fight, like, you know, see my highlights, you know, they're coming to congratulate me. So I'm just sitting there eating my food, and at the same time wondering, maybe there's something on my face, like, you know, is there like food on my face?
Right.
What's going on? They're coming right towards me. And then they go to the person behind me, and I just turn around. It's Usain Bolt.
No way.
And then these guys sitting down, they're just having their food, and I'm just like, oh man, this whole time this guy's behind me. I didn't even know. Like, I'm just eating my food. So it was great, man. I seen a lot of like famous athletes there, and I didn't get a lot of pictures because I was on a mission, yeah. And after my fight, I was kind of just hibernating in my room because I was so upset. But it is what it is. That's done.
You know what? I saw you at the 2016 Nationals, like I told you, and you had that face like you didn't want to talk to anybody. You were complete poker face. I thought you were angry, you know, but when I got a little bit older, I realized like it was just really focused.
Yeah, no, focus is really important. Like even like when I'm coming to fight as a pro now, you know, there's sometimes people ask me like, why didn't you wave at me? Why didn't you like give me a dab? Like, you know, I'm like, hey man, when I'm walking into the ring or when I'm fighting, I don't see anything. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see you, but I don't see you. Like, it's just like you know, like
tunnel vision.
It's like a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So same thing, Olympics, and same thing every nationals, every fight.
Do you have any tricks that help you focus like that?
Well, I guess it's personality. You could say that. Some people like to, you know, I don't know, like dance. Some people like to come into like music. Some people like to music. For me, it's just my faith, my dhikr that I do, remembrance of God, and just a tunnel vision. You know, that's it.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So basically, the Olympics are not all war, right? It's you had some fun there, looking back at it.
No, of course. Like you're serious. You're only serious because you're on a mission, but you have to have fun at the same time. Obviously, like you enjoy the crowd, you hear the crowd, but you gotta concentrate on what you're doing. You know, you can't get distracted, like wave around, like, you know, like during a fight, right? You have to concentrate on your opponent and what the ref is telling you. So like it's just a tunnel vision, but at the same time, you are enjoying it. You hear the crowd, obviously, and after the fight, you know, you enjoy it. You enjoy the moments going into the ring, everyone cheering. Like, you know, it's fun. It's not just like a war.
Yeah.
It's fun, and that's what you train for. You know, you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, and you're going in there or like, you know, then it's not really. You don't have the love for it then.
I see. Yeah. So you're having fun in the gym on a daily basis?
Of course, you have to have fun, man. Like, you have to enjoy it. You have to find a way to enjoy it. Sometimes we joke around even when we do pads, like, you know,
right.
Coach will just hit me like in the head and tell me I'm slow, you know, yeah. And you know, it's a mixture of everything. You can't always be serious. Life, you have to sometimes, you know, smile and enjoy and have fun, you know. You still have to smile, you know.
Of course, yeah. Still have to smile.
Yeah, so, you know.
When you won the Pan Am Games, it seemed almost impossible that a Canadian was gonna win the Pan Am Games?
That's another thing I wanted to accomplish. I knew that since 1975, no one won gold medal.
Yeah.
And it was like it was 40 years.
I believe it was Howard Grant that won the last Pan Am gold medal in Canada.
I'm not sure.
I'll double check. I'm not sure.
But it was 1975, so it was a long time, right? And I wanted to bring something back to Canada. I want to say I want to win the gold medal because Canada gave me so much opportunities. You know, I came to Canada refugee. You know, I finished school here. I started boxing in Canada. So like so much, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And when I was training for Pan Ams, I was sleeping in the gym for 2 months. I was training 3 times a day because the travel was too far. I didn't have a car back then. I would take the metro, it would take me an hour to get the training, hour to go back. So I said, hey, I need to sleep at the gym.
Right. And you're training 2-3 times a day.
Yeah, and so I would come sleep from Monday to Friday and then go home Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
And yeah, my coach, Adrian Teodorescu, he passed away. But he was a great coach and he had a little spot for me to sleep and everything.
Little
he gave me the
bag.
key, yeah. So it was amazing, man. That was the best camp I ever had. And it speaks for the results. So when I went into the Pan Ams, you know, I was like, I felt so unstoppable because of the training that I done. It was just like, there's no way I'm losing. I don't care who you put in front of me. I'm gonna destroy them. And if you saw the fights, some of the fights, I wasn't technically better than the opponents.
Yeah.
It was just, I wanted it more, and I was just pushing, especially the finals.
Yeah, yeah. Well, earlier you mentioned a dream you had before your fight on Friday.
Yeah.
Can you share it with us?
Yeah, so this is amazing. SubhanAllah. On Friday was my finals when I was fighting the Cuban, Yesnir Toledo. And you know, the bus, the fights were in Oshawa, and we were downtown staying, the village was downtown Toronto. And so I was sleeping, and I had my alarm set, and I was thinking, you know what, maybe I won't go into the mosque today because, you know, I'm fighting today.
For Jummah.
Yeah, for Jummah. And, you know, you need to go, you know, mosque is more serious than boxing, than everything else, you know, faith for me is more serious. And I'm sleeping, and I'm thinking like, before I went to sleep, I'm thinking, should I go, should I not go? I'm so tired, like, you know, but I'm okay, I'll go to sleep. I took a nap, and when I was sleeping, I hear the Athan, like, you know.
In your dream?
In my dream. And then my alarm goes off. Like, it's time to wake up. And I'm like, okay, I saw the dream. Like, I have to go now. Like, I have no excuse, like, you know.
Yeah.
And it was 34 degrees, like 35 degrees hot that day. And it was 20-minute walk to go to the mosque. So I'm in the heat walking to the mosque. You know, it takes a lot of energy out of you sitting there, you're listening, you know, 45 minutes, then I gotta come back, 20-minute walk. So I spent about an hour and a half. I come back, I'm tired, and in 2 hours we gotta leave. We gotta take the bus to Oshawa. It's like an hour drive.
Weigh-ins, fights.
And I'm on my way to Oshawa. I'm trying to catch a nap because like I'm tired. And then I didn't get a nap. We got to the venue. I'm warming up and I feel so heavy. My arms, everything is heavy. I'm like, what's going on, man? This is not good. Like, yeah, Rab, give me strength, like, you know. And then I'm walking into the ring. I'm still feeling heavy, like you know, I'm heavy and I don't know what's going on.
Was it nerves?
It wasn't nerves. It was just, I guess it was rest and 2 fights that I had. Everything was like so tense. And of course, probably the nerves too, because it's the finals and I'm trying to win, like, you know, so it's so important.
And you're facing Cuba too.
Yeah. And like I'm getting in, I'm still feeling heavy. And as soon as I get into the ring and that bell rang, I felt so light, like, you know? And like when I'm walking to the ring, I'm still making like prayers. I'm like, God, please help me. Like, you know, what's going on? You know, I went to the mosque, you know, I prayed, like, no, come on, brother. Like, yeah, like, give me strength. Like, you know, I'm making dhikr, like, you know? And then subhanAllah, like when the bell rang, like I felt so strong. And then, I don't know if you saw the fight, but I dropped in first round. They just didn't count it. They didn't count it as knockdown. But alhamdulillah, I got the win.
Alhamdulillah.
And it was a great experience.
Wow. Man, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Lately, we've had a lot of fighters come out of Chechnya or Dagestan or, you know, that part of the world, parts of Russia. What do you think makes these guys so strong mentally?
I think it's just that part of the region, that Caucasian area, you know, Dagestan, Chechnya, all our lives we've been fighting, like, you know, and it's just in the blood. It's just culture, and everyone there knows how to fight, knows how to wrestle. Wrestling and boxing is
everyone's got either broken nose or cauliflower ears.
Yeah. Like from young age, you wrestle each other, and it's just cultural thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
So you didn't spend a lot of time there. You came to Canada, right?
I came to Canada when I was 10. Yeah, but before I came to Canada, I went to Azerbaijan because of the war in 1999. And when the second war started, 2000, we went to Azerbaijan. I lived there for 6 years. So I only spent about 4 years in Chechnya.
Okay.
Because I was born during the Cold War, the first one, 1995. I was born that year. And then 1999, the second one started. That's when I remember, I was 4 years old. I remember some situations that were, because we were caught in the crossfire.
Right.
And eventually we made it to Azerbaijan. And I lived there for 6 years before coming here.
How old were you when you finally came here?
I was 10 years old.
Okay, 10 years old. So that was actually my point, is that it must be more than just culture, because you still carry that aura around you, but you didn't spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, no, like you said, yeah, it's in the blood. It's cultural too, right? Like the upbringing, how your parents upbring you. Like my brother always, the morals always stayed in our family. My mother, like my brother always like kept it there. Well, my father passed away when I was 7, so for me it was my brother that was like the father figure for me.
Yeah, my brothers were my father figure too.
Yeah.
Man, that threw me off. But you had told a story about I think you were leaving like a war zone, and you were being thrown from one soldier to the other. I couldn't find like a clear explanation of that story. What was going on?
It's a long story, but I'm gonna make it short and clear for you. It's 1999, 2000 when the second Cold War started in our city. They weren't allowing people to leave the country, especially men. And that time, like my mom wanted us to get out of the country, and we wanted to go to Azerbaijan, Baku. And that time, like they weren't allowing no one. And we got to a post mean like a bridge, like they had the soldiers, the soldiers on the other side, and they're like they were just like shooting, saying like don't come.
Right.
We're not letting anyone through,
Shooting in the air or shooting at the people?
Well, my mom wanted to cross the border, and she came with a white flag and my sister, and they're walking up and saying like, we just want to cross, and they shot beside her, telling her don't come close, go back. So she came back, and then at the same time, we had soldiers there, and then they started the crossfire, and we ended up being in that area, and that time it was just like, it was like war.
You were 4 years old?
I was 4 years old, and all I remember was the soldiers grabbing me, running with me, and like one day we get tired, they'll throw me to other soldier, and then they were asking me like, what's your name, like because that time it was like everyone running away, like what's your name, like whose son are you, and my father used to always tell me when I was younger, someone asks you who you are, it's for us, it's like a cultural thing, tell me you're a wolf, Chechen Wolf, and they're running with me and they ask me like, what's your name, and I'm telling them I'm Chechen Wolf, I'm Wolf, So that's where the story came from, the Chechen Wolf, when I told them the first time to CBC, and that's what happened. And then it took us like 2 days to get through underwater lake bridge and stuff to cross over, and then eventually we got there. So it was tough. I'm thankful I was young. I don't remember much, but war is something no one wants. It's scary.
Of course, my grandfather used to tell me a similar. We have a similar saying in Arabic. It's like, I don't, it's fusha, but it's like, you have to be the wolf or the wolf will eat you. Yeah. And you decide if you're going to be the wolf or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's, anyway, it's like culturally, similar. I wanted to ask you also about your brother. What has his role been in your life?
Well, he was very athletic. Like he was a very good boxer, kickboxer. He actually won Asia when he was younger, before we came to Canada, in kickboxing. So he was like very into fighting sports. And when we came to Canada, he was boxing, he was wrestling at the same time. And that's kind of how he forced me into boxing. He said, "Come with me, come training." And
Forced you into it.
Yeah.
You didn't learn how to fight.
I wanted to be a soccer player. I was really good at soccer, and he just took me to boxing when I was 12 and a half, 13.
Yeah.
And he said, "Come, you need to like learn how to throw a punch properly, you know,
Right.
just
were
in
you,
case."
Were you getting in trouble as a kid?
Not really, but you know, kids, yeah, you fight.
Right.
And especially when you're new, it's, you know, people want to pick on you.
You don't speak
but,
English
you
that
don't
well.
Speak English, you know, and then you don't know what they're saying, so you get mad and you fight them, you know. It was kind of like that. So, but he just wanted me to join just for myself, right? So I joined boxing, and I hated it at first because I was really bad.
Really?
I was really bad, because boxing, you need to learn, right?
Of course.
And I was just swinging punches and sparring, like, you know, I'd get beat up because people are more technically better than me.
Right.
And that's why I hated it. Sometimes I'll pretend like I'm asleep, not to go training, but my brother caught on to those tricks, and he's like, "Nah, no, you're not sleeping, let's go."
You're coming
So
to
I'm
the gym.
thankful to my brother for everything, you know, like he put his soul, like his heart into everything. And he actually, I'm gonna say it to you, I'm gonna say it to everyone else too, because if he said boxing, he would have been a better boxer than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was that good. Like my brother was amazing.
Wow.
A very good boxer, very skilled. And he just had to stop because he had to work.
Yeah, I had to raise you.
The man of the family, he has to work. I didn't have sponsors. He had to, you know, cover me. And he said, "Here, look, you just concentrate on training. You box. Let me worry about everything else. You know, you accomplish what I wanted to. We'll do it through you. You know."
Yeah.
So it was like that. So he put everything into me. Still does. And that's it. My brother is like the biggest, my supporter.
That makes you stronger, you know, to know that, you know, you're living it for your brother too.
Of course, yeah, and that's why, like, I wanna do everything for my brother, for my family, because there's so much expectation on me. I came so far, right? And I can't stop now. I have to keep going. You know, all the hard work my brother put into this his whole life, so I have to get there, man. I have to get that world title.
I wish you all the best, bro.
Thank you.
Inshallah, you'll be world champion next year.
Inshallah.
You know, we spoke a little bit about like your mental strength, you know, because you're relentless in there.
Yeah.
I always say that Islam is the warrior's religion.
You know, it's all, when you practice your religion, it makes you calm. It makes you know that everything is in the hands of God, you know. So you do what you gotta do. You train hard, you know. You work. You feed your family, and what's meant to be is gonna be. But you just keep doing what you gotta do.
Maktub.
And that's what God says. Like, you know, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, I prayed 100 times, but nothing happened." You gotta go act, you know. Yeah, of course, you have to go do something to get something, right? So I'm doing everything I can, and if it doesn't work out, I don't care, because I know that I gave everything I can. It's not meant to be, maybe, you know. God has better plans for me. So for me, faith is very important. And I chose this difficult sport, boxing. I think it's one of probably the hardest sport there is.
Yeah.
But I like it because you can't blame anyone. It's yourself. If you don't train well, if you lose, it's kind of your fault, because it's like, you know, maybe you cheated somewhere. Maybe you didn't give it all. Maybe you could have done more, but you didn't, you know? So that's why I chose boxing over soccer. But when it comes to religion, for me, it's the most important thing, because all this sport, all this fame, all this money, clothes, everything, you know, everything you have, it's not going to be left when you're gone. When you're done, when you're out of this world, you know, what's left with you is your good deeds that you have done, the good things that you have done for people, you know, the prayers that you have done, you know, everything good that you've done. And that's what our religion, my religion, teaches us. So I don't know what the media says. Some people, don't like to say good things, but it's a beautiful religion if you look into it.
Of course.
And if you follow it, there's nothing bad. Every religion is good. Every religion tells you to be good, to do good. So that's the main thing, and that's what helps me when I train and when I fight, because for me it's when you're mentally strong meaning that having faith makes you mentally strong, because you know that you've done everything else is in God's hand,
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. So right now I'm training, I'm working hard, I'm doing everything I can. There's always ups and downs, but there's always meanings to it. So yeah, I'm just concentrating on what I gotta do, and
you're doing your half.
If it works out, yeah.
I always make it a point to talk about, well, to at least mention it on my small platform, because there's like you said, the media has got it all twisted, and the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing it's more and more important,
Yeah.
Is there somebody other than your brother that has helped you significantly on the way?
Of course, there's a lot of people that helped me. It's been a lot of people that sponsored me, helped me one way or another. So I want to thank everyone who helped me. There's a lot of names, so I won't have time to mention them, but
we'll tag you.
Yeah. Of course, there's always people that help you. It's not always a one man journey,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always good to have help. It makes things easier. But for me, like I said, my main person that helped me was always my brother. He always believed in me and always supported me. And sometimes that's all you really need. You just need one supporter that believes in you. And for me, it was my family, my brother, my mom,
Yeah.
And that was it. That's what gave me the strength.
You don't need much when you have brothers.
Of course.
Yeah. But look, there's a game I always play with my guests. So I'm gonna name fighters and coaches, and you're gonna describe them with one word or one sentence, as fast as you can.
I'll try. I don't think I'll be good, but I'll try.
It's okay. No, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna be good at this game.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with a very easy one. Okay, we're gonna start with your coach, Sam Descaries.
Funny, fun.
We're Arthur Beterbiev.
Tough, serious. Gets his job done, whatever it needs to do.
Yves Ulysse.
Who?
Yves Ulysse.
Ulysse?
Yves Ulysse.
Ulysse.
Never mind. He's only ranked number 1 in Canada anyway.
Ulysse.
Yeah.
Ulysse.
Yeah.
Quick.
Mazlum Akdeniz.
On the way to the top.
Steve Claggett.
Mexican style.
Yeah, straight up. I watched him fight Tony Luis. I watched that fight. I was there. Oh my God, man. Killer fight. Tank Davis.
Strong.
George Kambosos.
Speedy.
Richard Comey.
Tough.
Ryan Garcia.
Quick.
The champion at your weight class, Josh Taylor.
All-rounded.
All-rounded. There's actually one last question I missed. I didn't ask you. Was remember you boxed Maz at the Nationals? Because I interviewed him and we spoke about that.
Yeah.
And there was so much hype on that fight. It's very rare that there's a lot of hype on an amateur fight. So basically, you guys were, a lot of people had you winning going into the fight, but he wasn't scared of anything. So I remember, this is what I want to ask you. So I remember in the first round, he knocked you down, and the crowd went crazy. Everyone was, no way, Arthur got knocked down. Is he gonna stop him? What's gonna happen? And when you went down, I was trying to look directly in your eyes. I said, man, I want to know what this guy's made of. I want to see how he reacts. You got up and you smiled, and you just kind of shook it off. You're like, silly me. why were you so smiley? I mean, not your entire career, but so much could have changed if you didn't win that fight.
Yeah. You know, in the amateurs, it's like, if you take a step back or if you get a punch, you get an 8 count right away.
Right.
And I was not hurt there at all. So that's why I was smiling. I was like, why am I getting an 8 count, you know? But at the same time, I was like, okay, like, you know, now I have to put on the second, third gear because it doesn't look good on my side getting an 8 count, you know? And I didn't know Muslim I didn't know who it was that time. So for me, it was just another fight.
Okay.
And I was just like, no way, this guy just, you know, gave me an 8 count.
Right.
I'm gonna go out hard. That's why I smiled. And then after that, I didn't see anything. I was just like, okay, I have to destroy it. That's it. And I remember second round, my coach was telling me like, hey, relax, it's okay, man. Relax.
At the time, it was Chris Johnson, right?
Chris Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, very nice guy, Chris.
Yeah.
And well, you ended up winning that fight.
Yeah.
You became Canadian champion for the 5th time. But yeah, it was just a really fun, like, it was a crazy interaction because I remember the crowd was, no way. And a lot of people from Maz's team were like, I told you. You know what I mean? It was the whole arena. I remember it was a small hotel.
No, it was nice. It was a good experience, you know. Mazlum is a tough guy. It was a good fight, but I got the unanimous decision.
Yeah. There you go. Arthur, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother.
Thank you, Fuad, for having me.
I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you.
Guys, if this was a good investment of your time, remember to subscribe. If this was a good investment of your time, make sure to smash the subscribe button, check out my Patreon, follow my man Arthur Biyarslanov, or I'll knock you out. I knew I was gonna mess up somewhere, bro.